Sadie's laying at the grave. Oh, Sadie is laying on the grave. Oh my God. Friends, all of the heifers, along with Sadie, have come by to hang out here alongside little Gary's final resting place. And thanks to a lot of folks in the comments on my live video this morning, we're going to name this area of the property after little Gary and this wonderful grove of trees that he enjoyed playing under, laying around in, hanging out with his friends in the shade. It's going to be called Gary's Grove. That's a beautiful name, and it's very fitting to name this particular spot after our sweet little Gary. We had little Gary for about a year. He came to us sick, both on the inside and the outside. And we did all that we could. We took care of his little inside infections and got him to eat. He put on quite a bit of weight, but there was only so much you can do to, for a large animal. And we thought that Gary would be okay, even though he had quite the limp, and we could tell that he kind of struggled getting around. But he never let his handicap slow him down. The first thing I remember about Gary was how much he loved Jezebel. Jezebel is one of our Longhorn. She's quite the loner. And within no time, it just seemed like every time you go out into the pasture, you'd always find Gary and Jezebel together. And so she was his first friend. And then something else cute that happened with Gary, not too long after he began to hang out with the cows, is all of the moms put him in charge of babysitting their babies. And we kind of laughed about that because everyone knows about these fainting goats. And the reason that these fainting goats are sometimes put out with herds of sheep is because if a wolf comes out and gets after the sheep, those fainting goats will conk over, and they'll be the ones that get eaten instead of the much more valuable sheep. And so we always joke that little Gary, the mamas around here, the mama Longhorns, knew that if something come out of these woods, they would get little Gary first before they got their babies. We were just joking though. And then, after watching little Gary be babysitter for a while, he moved up to the bullpen with Tex and Waylon. And Waylon really got along well with Gary. They were friends. It was cute. I said it this morning on my live video, but Waylon never pushed Gary harder than Waylon could push back. Even with his injury, hey sweetie, even with little Gary's injury, he and Waylon would sometimes get out there and wrestle and play. And then finally, the last thing that we did with little Gary was made him the headmaster for all of these, our little heifers here. All these naughty heifers had to let Gary kind of be in charge. And oh boy, and Gary really enjoyed hanging out with these young ladies and showing them the ways. When the vet came to visit last month, it's been a little over a month, I guess, she told us that little Gary was not going to get any better, and that we tried to find some painkillers for him to help manage his little aches and pains. I know, baby, you miss Gary so much. I do too, sweetie. I miss him too, sweet baby. And then, sweetie, don't burp on my video. We have a serious video going here. You can't be burping on a serious video, baby. Okay? Please. Gary finally got down on his leg, and his one good leg began to give him trouble, which is what we knew was going to happen eventually. And we went ahead and made the decision to go ahead and have the vet come back out and find a way to end all of Gary's pain and suffering in a humane type way. And so now Gary will never suffer again. But we're gonna miss him. We're gonna miss him so much, right, sweet baby? We're gonna miss Gary so much. Yes, we are. Baby, it's about Gary right now, okay? It's supposed to be about Gary. Let's drive out and look at all the cows, shall we? Y'all come with me. Sadie's laying at the grave. Oh, Sadie is laying on the grave. Oh my God. Friends, all of the heifers, along with Sadie, have come by to hang out here alongside little Gary's final resting place. And thanks to a lot of folks in the comments on my live video this morning, we're going to name this area of the property after little Gary and this wonderful grove of trees that he enjoyed playing under, laying around in, hanging out with his friends in the shade. It's going to be called Gary's Grove. That's a beautiful name, and it's very fitting to name this particular spot after our sweet little Gary. And how amazing is it that Sadie, just how wonderful is it that she's laying there at the grave. I told myself I'm not going to get emotional in this video and make you all have to sit here and hear a grown man cry. And I'm trying to stay true to that. But that right there is something. We're going to miss Gary. And we love him. Patsy's also digging around in the dirt. Not to worry, we buried Gary deep, y'all. We had to get the excavator because, well, you can't dig a hole as deep as you had to have for little Gary by hand. So we dug it nice and deep. And there's no worries that, you know, any predator is going to come by and dig at Gary. I think this is just a really beautiful moment right here, though. All the babies gathered around. And then, of course, having Sadie right there laying right alongside the grave is just very, very powerful and just kind of a, I don't know, it's just a very just telling way of how much she loves and loved Gary. Thank y'all for loving Gary. Thank y'all for loving me.